a pocket project. This is the original one that I did, and I decided to change it up a little bit. So I recreated it to a more workable size because this one was just huge. This one is almost 5 inches wide and 5.5 inches tall. And I went, that's too big. So I shrunk it down and I made this one. And this one is 5 inches tall, but it's only 3.5 inches wide. Okay. This is a pretty neat one. You have a pocket here. You have a pocket here. You have a pocket here. And, you know, so you have 1, 2, 3 pockets on this one. A little bit of book page in there. And if you want to, you know, depending upon how you glue this onto a page, if you glue it down to the page, you could have another pocket, you know, in the back somewhere. Anyway, so we're going to be doing this one. I'm going to get out a list of supplies, and I'll be right back. Okay, so regular tools. You're going to want some glue. You may want your bone folder, whatever you use to make your little finger punch, some corner rounders, and I think that's it. Then in addition to that, you know, you, of course, your paper trimmer. But honestly, this is so quick and easy. Now, you can, let's do this. Some book page or something else that you want to use. If you're using double-sided paper, you probably don't need this, but it's entirely up to you. Some paper. This is single-sided scrapbook paper, and then I have this double-sided thin weight cardstock. And then, of course, paper to make my journaling cards and tags. So, we are going to do our cuts first, and then we're going to move on to assembly, okay? And since I'm using scrapbook paper and I have some double-sided paper, I'm going to actually make 2 of these at the same time. That way you can see the difference between the two, okay? I think it's a good idea. So let me just move a few things and get the trimmer set up, and we'll get started. I'll be right back. All right, so we're going to start with the just the thin paper. This is just scrapbook paper. It's single-sided. This piece is 10 inches wide, and we need a piece that's 10 by 6.5. So I'm just going to put this in my trimmer and get myself a piece that's 6.5 inches. And that is it for that cut. Since we are doing both, I'm going to go ahead and do this one as well. I'm going to go 6.5, and this piece got kind of torn up, so I figured it would be good for this project. 6.5 by 10. Scraps, you know, keep those. What the heck, right? So those are going to be the bases, and then we're going to do this small piece here on at least one of them. And for this piece, we don't have, it doesn't have to go all the way to the bottom. It just has to go 2 inches from the bottom. So this piece I cut at 2 3/4 by no more than 4 3/4. Okay? And that is just a piece of book page. And I'm going to cut 2 of these at the same time. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut off the edges into the words. Okay, so we'll get rid of those. And then I'm going to cut a strip that is 2 3/4. I'm going to get rid of the top and the bottom. Because no matter what, I don't you know, really want to use that. This one, I'm actually going to cut right here, I think. We'll just cut it to what we need. I'm going to cut it to 4 inches. That'll give me a good piece to use in there. So we have that. See, and even that one's good. Okay. And then what else? Oh yeah, we got to cut these journaling cards. So the one for the front is 4 inches by 2 3/4. So I'm going to cut a piece that is 2 3/4. This is 110 pound cardstock by 4. That is going to be this pocket. And let's see. This one is slightly narrower, but it is the rest of the page. This one is 2 1/2 instead of 2 3/4. So you can cut those from the same piece. So that's that one. Put these back in here so I remember where they go. And then there is this one. Now this pocket is gusseted on this side but glued on that side. So this card that we're using here is 4 1/2 by 3 1/2. So I'm going to go up to 4 1/2. Cut it down to 3 1/2. And that is all my pieces cut, okay? I don't have any more cutting to do. I can get rid of my cutter. I'm going to do that, and I'll be right back. All right, let's start with our scrapbook paper. And all we're going to do is fold this in half this way. Line everything up, and then go ahead and burnish our fold. Okay. I'm going to make sure that we got that nice and straight. And then we're going to fold it this way. But we're going to leave about 1/2 inch here. So I'm going to use my board. This goes to 8 1/2. So I'm going to fold this over to the 8. Maybe a little bit less. Oops. Then I'm going to throw my bone folder on the floor. Okay. Okay. Now, when you do this, you're going to notice that this gets a little bit off, and that is because of shift. So all we're going to do is take our scissors and trim that up. Okay? We just want it, you know. There she blows. Then we're going to open the whole thing up. And you have 2 boxes top and 2 boxes bottom. You have a big box, little box, big box, little box. You want your little boxes on the left, and you're going to fold down that corner to that line. Okay, so to the line, or, you know, close to it. Fold that down, and then we're just going to glue that down. Okay. Doop. All right. Bone action there. Okay. Then we're going to fold this back up, fold that back over, and you're going to see we now have a pocket. This, which is the opposite of this, is where we're going to be putting our book page or, you know, other scrapbook paper, whatever you want to put in. But you want to make sure you got your letters going the right direction. So this is going to get inked. This is going to get inked. Okay. All your corners are going to get inked if you're inking. If you're inking. If you're not inking, then you can skip the next step, okay? So, I'm going to show you the fold one more time. And then I'm going to take a break so that you can ink this. All right. Now, using actual cardstock is a little bit trickier because, you know, it's thicker. So on this one, I do like to score my pocket, and I'm gonna score this, let's see, at roughly 3 inches. Doop. Oh. And I'm gonna score both sides. Okay. And then I'm going to fold. Here, there. I'm going to trim that off again. Now, here's the difference if you're using cardstock. Folding this down is going to be very difficult. So what I recommend for if you're using cardstock is open it up, come down. I know it's very hard to see. Let's do it on this side. There, that's easier. Come down, and you want to be a mark 2 inches from the fold. Put a little mark here. And then I recommend you just cut that off. Because it's cardstock, and cardstock is much more difficult to fold. So we can just take that piece off, okay? All right, so now this is our imaginary fold, right? Right there. That's your imaginary fold. And that means that this, if we turn it around, is going to go right here, this way. Okay? So, let's ink everything that needs to be inked. And then we'll come back and we'll walk into the next step. Okay? Right back. Okay, so we have inked our inside pages. We've inked this on the edges, down our fold, on the edge here, and then along the side here. And if you're going to round the corners, you're going to need to do that and ink that as well. Okie dokie. Alright, so now, once everything is inked up, the next step is going to be to apply our piece of book page. I do not recommend that you try to use tape roller on these because it just basically rips the paper and puts, you know, paper in your tape roller. If you are using regular tape, that will work, but I don't know, glue. So I'm going to match this up and line it up on that corner. There we go. Now I have my book page. Okay? And then on this one, I'm going to do the same thing because I don't like that. I mean, it's not bad, but it's not exactly what, you know. I don't think it matches the front. Let's put it that way. Sometimes when you use a double-sided paper, it matches really well, and then sometimes not so much. Okay. All right. So now we're going to do a little bit of detail on this. We're going to do our little finger punch up here. I'm going to hold on to that. this one over here. To that one. And then I'm going to put a little ink in there. All right. Now, this gets glued. Okay. So that is the big back flap across the top. Leave this open. If you want to put a finger punch in here, do that. Let's put one of those in there. Okay. Get some ink. All right, now. Excuse me, we're going to glue across the bottom and up the outside. Okay, flip that over. I'm going to use my bone folder to make sure that I get that well adhered because this is the cardstock. Okay. And I'm going to let this dry, and then I'm going to do this one more time, okay? So, for here, put in a finger nip, okay? Now, because this is white paper, I'm just going to lay that nip right back down into the slot, and it actually leaves it on the back, but covers up where I put the finger draw. And then I'm going to go ahead and ink this and this. Okay, so ink on the top from the triangle to the corner. Sorry, glue. Okay, then on the small flap, all across the bottom and all the way up the straight edge, okay, on the outside. Flip that over. Now, I'm going to let both of those dry. I'll be right back. We're going to work a little bit on the tags. All right, so we're going to work from the bottom to the top, and that means we're going to do this tag first, right here. And that is the big one. And so what we're going to do is we're going to round the corners on 2 edges. Now, you can do all 4 if you want to, but I just do the 2. And then this is going to get inked and decorate it. You can put other paper on here or an image or whatever you want to do. So if you want to put an image on the front here, by all means do that. Okay. And I have my pieces that these go into. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to put that right there. And I'm going to mark my 2 edges. And then I'm going to take that back out. And that is so I know exactly where that is. And then I'm going to do the same thing with the other one. And then I'm going to take these little pieces, you know, that I knocked out, and I'm going to put them on here. So I'm going to ink that. And I'm not using the same one that I knocked out. This is actually the blue one. I am going to make this one. It's a little tight, so I'm going to go ahead and just shave a little bit off the edge. Re-round my top corner. And then re-ink that edge. And now that should fit a little better. There we go. So that one's in. Now this one, do the same thing. Put this one in. All right, so now we have those. So the next one are these tall pockets. And again, you can round the corners here, decorate them as you like. Not those, this one. One in here. Now I can tell you this, when you're making these, the scrapbook paper is definitely more forgiving as far as like, it's not as hard to get stuff in and out of it. And on the off chance that it is a problem, just trim it, you know. This is, tags and things that go into pockets are never an exact science, let's be honest. Okay, we're gonna get that one in. There we go, that's two. And then this last one, alright, so I'm going to finish inking these up, okay? And then I'm going to be back. We're going to have them all in. And we're going to talk about one other thing that you can do with this. I'll be right back. Okay, so you can decorate the front of this, or if you want, you could add one more pocket on the front. And that's just random, you know, I'm not really doing anything spectacular. I'm just randomly chopping at this little piece. I'm going to go ahead and then that would get glued on right there. And then, you know, I can just put like a small tag in there if I want. It's an option. Okay, so that wraps up my little project for today. If you have any questions or comments, put them in the comment section below, or email me or instant message me, however you need to reach out, and I will be happy to answer any questions that I can. Let's see, what else? That's it. If you want to know what's going on in my world, go ahead and check out my community tab here on my YouTube channel, or scoot on over to the Facebook group. There is a link to that in the description box below. It's going to tell you everything you want to know about my digital world. But until I see you again, stay well, my friends. Bye-bye.